Hey, what's up? This is William Covert here with my first rebooking video for YouTube. I hope you like it. It's my first try. And today we're going to be rebooking WWE WrestleMania 21, which was the WrestleMania that went Hollywood. I thought it was a really good WrestleMania, actually. One of the better WrestleManias of the past 10 years. It was a good WrestleMania, and also, from what I read up, it went up in business from last year's WrestleMania, the year before, WrestleMania 20, which is a pretty good feat in itself. Anytime you get over 1 million buy rates, that's a pretty successful thing. I decided to change the venue from Hollywood, California to the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. I'm not a big fan of WrestleManias going back to the same state so quickly. WrestleMania 16, 2000, that was in California, Anaheim, and I thought, they didn't really need to go to Hollywood, so I moved it to the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. They hadn't had a WrestleMania since 9 and 93, so I moved it there. A couple things you need to know. I decided to move the WWE draft to December. Usually they have their draft after WrestleMania. I decided, let's do our draft at the end of the year. Let's shake things up at the end of the year, start a new year, new roster, start fresh. What else do you need to know? Okay, Randy Orton. Evolution does not split up. I know Evolution split up in the summer of 2004. They're not going to split up here in my rebooking. They're going to stay together right up to 2005 here in this WrestleMania. But at the December 2004 draft, we're going to see Triple H and Randy Orton get drafted to SmackDown. And they're not very happy about this. But Triple H, Randy Orton, Batista, Ric Flair, they all decide that they want complete domination of the WWE. With Batista and Flair on Raw, Triple H and Orton on SmackDown, they want to dominate all of WWE, even though the brand split them up. Another thing you need to know, Shawn Michaels takes the World Heavyweight Championship from Chris Benoit at the Survivor Series of 2004, so he'll be heading in as World Champ. And Batista, who's still a heel, will stay heel, even though he was getting cheered at this time. He wins the 2005 Royal Rumble in dominant fashion. There's no double over the top with John Cena. Batista is the winner. He's going to face the world champ. Okay, so for my first match, I have Randy Orton, the Legend Killer, over Rey Mysterio. I think that would be a good energy match to start the show. I think it would be very fast-paced. You always want to start WrestleMania with a good pace and a good story, and I think Rey Mysterio is a perfect guy to open any show. He was so quick. He was so energetic. And I think Randy Orton was just so hot here as the Legend Killer. He was downing everybody. I just think they, in the summer of 2004 they turned him heel too quickly, turned him face too quickly. And then he had that pointless 1 month title reign, and then he gave the title back to Triple H, and he floundered as a babyface the rest of the year. But so Randy Orton would go over here, and that would be his second year in a row winning at a WrestleMania. And I'd like to think maybe I'd like to start his own little streak here, winning at WrestleMania. I think at the actual WrestleMania 21, they had him job to Undertaker. Great match, but I think I may have saved that Taker Orton match for a couple years down the road. Build it up a little bit, So Randy Orton wins the first one for Evolution at WrestleMania. Second match, kept it the exact same, but different order. Akibono defeats the Big Show in the sumo match. Not really a whole lot to say about it, really. It was just a spectacle. It was just something different. And not everything has to be a match, you know what I mean? WrestleMania is all about different things and trying out things, and maybe I'd even have Big Show go over Akibono, but because Big Show is your full-time guy, but I still thought it was a pretty cool thing. Third match, from the SmackDown brand. Undertaker defeats Kurt Angle. Yeah, I know our actual WrestleMania 21, it was Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels. Classic match. One of the best WrestleMania matches ever. But I also remember Undertaker and Kurt Angle, No Way Out 2006, being a classic match. And I thought, man, what if that match would have been on the WrestleMania stage instead of No Way Out, the pay-per-view before. It's one of the most memorable world title matches I recall, but thinking, man, Undertaker and Kurt Angle on that WrestleMania stage, wow, that would be incredible. So I have Undertaker go over there. Next segment, Piper's Pit. I kept that the exact same. Piper's Pit with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I thought that was excellent. You know, Piper going to the Hall of Fame that weekend. You got the two biggest trash talkers in WWE history. You know, just doing their thing, and you couldn't pick for a more perfect victim than Carlito to come out and them having a laugh at and a stunner. And Piper's Pit was just, anytime Piper's Pit's on the show, it's just icing on the cake. So I would have kept that the exact same. Segment number 5. The Royal Rumble winner, World Heavyweight Champion Batista. And he's going to defeat Shawn Michaels for the World Heavyweight title. So I did not go with John Cena in the main event for the I did not go with Batista versus Triple H. I went with Batista versus Shawn Michaels. And I'm going to have Batista win the title as a heel, not as a face. I would book Batista as this real dominant heel. And he's running through everybody. And he wins clean. No interference, no nothing. He just becomes this dominant monster, and he beats Shawn Michaels. And it's clear and crisp, and there's no disputing it. And so that makes Evolution 2 for 2 for the night. 6th segment, I kept the exact same. Money in the Bank. The very first ever Money in the Bank match. What a great concept. Still running strong after 10 years. Edge. Yeah, Edge defeats Y2J, Chris Benoit, Shelton Benjamin, Christian, and Kane. Man, I mean, Edge was the guy. He was coming up hot then, you know, and he was the perfect guy to win that thing and be the future world champ. I wouldn't have changed a thing there. What a great invention by Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is the one who created Money in the Bank. And I think I wouldn't have changed that at all. Next one. I changed a segment into a match. Muhammad Hassan, remember him? He came out on the card. He was complaining about how he didn't have a WrestleMania match, how he wasn't booked, and how it was racism and all this stuff. Like, how dare you leave this guy off the show, you know? And I would have a surprise match, basically just like it did, but an actual match. I'd have Hulk Hogan come out, real American, you know, the newly Hall of Famer, and they would have a match. Actually, I'd probably have it pan to the back, and then Mean Gene would be there with the Hulkster, and he'd do one of his 1980s style interviews, and Hulk comes out, and the referee comes running out, and Hulk Hogan just beats him 1, 2, 3 because, well, now looking back, Hassan, he was a great heel, but he didn't have a very long run. He actually decided to venture into movies. I don't know whatever came of his movie career, but I'd have the Hulkster go over, especially after the Hall of Fame ceremony when they're, God, for what, 10, 15 minutes, all they were chanting was, one more match, one more match. Like, they wouldn't even let him talk. It was fantastic. So Hulk Hogan would go over Hassan there. Next segment, WWE Tag Team Titles. JBL and Orlando Jordan over RVD and Tajiri. It was just kind of a makeshift match. They weren't exactly teams, but the way I'd rebooked it, JBL did have a WWE title run, but he lost it back to Eddie Guerrero. So Eddie Guerrero's entering WrestleMania as WWE champion this year. And I love the JBL character. I think it's a great character, but I wouldn't have had him in the WWE title match at this WrestleMania. And so, but I would have him in a match because I love the character. And so I'm going to put them over RVD and Tajiri for the tag team titles there. Next match, segment number 9. Ric Flair defeats John Cena with the help of Randy Orton. This was just really a match to get Ric Flair on the show and John Cena. And I'm not a big fan of guys getting titles right away. I like, even if they are hot, I like seeing guys that put in the time get the belts. You think of Bret Hart. He wrestled 8 years for the Federation before he got his first title. Even Shawn Michaels, just as long. You know, like, sometimes I think the guys that put in more years to get the belt are a little more humble than the ones that are like, okay, I'm hot, I'm getting the belt. You know, maybe I could be wrong, but maybe the fans don't get sick of them as quickly. I don't know, like John Cena, you know, I like him, I have a lot of respect for him, but he's been in the title picture since, 2005. We're this 10 years, people, I think the longer you wait to put somebody in the title picture, the more respect you have. Like, oh, this guy really busted his ass for it, like Bret Hart, like Shawn Michaels, like Chris Jericho. So I have Randy Orton help Ric Flair defeat John Cena, and this helps Evolution have their almost perfect night at WrestleMania. So Evolution is totally ripping up this show. You got Orton over Mysterio, you got Batista downing Michaels for the world title, and you got Ric Flair getting a cheap win over John Cena. John Cena's young, he's got a lot of time to enter that main event scene. And the main event for the WWE Championship, Eddie Guerrero goes over Triple H. Like I said in the at the draft, I had Triple H and Orton move over to SmackDown, not by choice, but Triple H wins the tournament to be the #1 contender for Eddie Guerrero's WWE title, and Eddie had regained the title from JBL somewhere around, we'll say, the December pay-per-view Armageddon. And I just think Triple H and Eddie, that's to me, that's just a great classic one-on-one match. I think that could main event any show, any WrestleMania. And unlike when Eddie beat Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20 with the roll-up, where Angle had the ankle lock and Eddie unloosened his boot and got the cheap roll-up victory, which was cool, but I think I would have Eddie win clean. 3 Amigos, 5-star frog splash, maybe 2 of them to beat Triple H. But send a message that Eddie Guerrero's our guy. He's WWE champion, and he definitely had the charisma. He definitely had the wrestling talent. He definitely put in the years to be there. Definitely a deserving guy. And then I could just picture, Triple H being the one guy that lets Evolution down, and ironically, he's the leader. And then I don't know, I have this image of Batista, Ric Flair, Randy Orton all standing on stage after Triple H lost, and they all just kind of give him this look like, you let us down, man. Like, you're the failure of the night, and it kind of makes you wonder where Evolution's going to go in the following year, you know what I mean? Like, so that's how I would have done WrestleMania 21. So just ran it down quickly. Randy Orton defeats Shawn Michaels. Akibono wins the sumo match over the Big Show. Undertaker defeats Kurt Angle in a classic. Puts his streak to, what would have that been? 13-0, something like that? 12-0? I forget. Piper's Pit with Stone Cold when to change thing. Batista, the monster heel, downs Shawn Michaels for the world title. Edge wins Money in the Bank. Hulk Hogan has his one more match and downs Muhammad Hassan. WWE Tag Team titles from the cabinet. JBL and Orlando Jordan retain over RBD and Tajiri. And WWE Championship, Eddie Guerrero retains over Triple H. I hope you liked it. Give me any comments, criticisms. If you liked it, you don't like it, I'd like to hear it. It's my first time trying this, and thanks for watching, and hope you watch more. Take care.